Good morning, Floss Tube. This is Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is the 4th of December. It is Saturday. I'm trying to squeeze this in before I open the shop, but I'm warning you right now, it may be a cluster. It has been a night. It has been a week of trying to get this done, and I tell you, the gods must be against me. They don't want me to make this video. So I'm going to do my best, but I may be interrupted by the phone, people coming and going. I don't know. I'm just going to do my best. So I did want to say thank you to everyone who chose to overlook my emotional state last time I recorded. It was a rough time. I'm better now, so thank you for your kind words. I appreciate them greatly. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. We did pretty good. No major drama except for typhoid. Reese had 101 degree temperature. Abby called crying Thanksgiving morning because she was just sure I was going to say they couldn't come. And I was torn. I didn't quite know what I wanted to do because Dan's mom was coming, and she's in her 80s, and we didn't know what was going on with Reese. So I ended up just calling everybody and saying, "Hey, Reese has got 101 degree temperature. Do you want me to tell them to stay home?" And everyone said, "No, just go ahead and let them come." So in the end, nobody got sick. And if anyone was going to, it would have been me, because apparently when Reese is sick, she wants her juju. So I spent if I wasn't cooking, I had Reese. We watched Shrek. We played on the staircase, because apparently that's the thing to do. We watched a couple other shows, some music. We just snuggled. So everyone else played some dominoes while I was taking care of her. So all in all, it was a good holiday, and food was good. It all got done at the same time, which I was worried about, because I don't know about you guys, but I haven't really cooked a huge meal like that I can't even remember if I did it for Christmas last year. But I don't think so. So it's been a while. It's been a hot minute since I cooked for that many people, and I was really concerned about everything getting done at the same time. But it went well. It went really well, and I hope yours did too. I mentioned that this video has been a tough one to get recorded. I originally intended to do it last Saturday after work. Had all the stuff ready, brought my computer, went to get set up, and I didn't have my cord, my power cord, and there was no battery left in it. So I couldn't do it then, so I thought, well, I'll just schlep it all home and I'll do it Sunday. Well, I had Dan bring all the Christmas stuff up, and it literally looked like a bomb had gone off. There was not a flat surface where I could put the computer. So I'm like, well, okay, I'm going to have to get the Christmas decorating done before I do the video. And then Abby called, and she said they were coming into town. She and Reese were going to spend the night because she had an OB appointment Monday morning, and it was at 8:30 in the morning, so she thought they would just come in and spend the night. But they were going to come early because her birthday was Saturday. And she thought she and Travis would go out to dinner and maybe go look at the lights downtown and maybe take a carriage ride. And so they were bringing Reese early. And I was looking around at my house and thinking about Tornado Reese and all the Christmas stuff laying around. And I'm like, yeah, that ain't going to work. So I did what I could and then packed everything up and put it up where little tornado hands can't get to it, and vacuumed quickly the floor, and they walked in just as I'd finished vacuuming. So, and there's no way to make a video with Reese around. So it didn't happen then. Monday, I had Reese until about 3 because Abby's appointment was at 8:30, and then she was going to quickly run a couple errands and then come back. Well, her quickly run a couple errands lasted until 2, and then she wanted me to go to Hobby Lobby with her, so we went to Hobby Lobby, and by the time I got back it was 4, and it was time to make supper, and so it didn't happen Monday night. So then I schlepped everything back here to the shop to make a video Tuesday morning, and I had 4 or 5 orders that I had to get out Tuesday morning. By the time I got that done, it was time to open the shop, so it didn't happen. So then I was going to try for Wednesday. I can't remember what happened on Wednesday, but it didn't happen, and I finally said, we'll just wait for Saturday again. So I'm making my plans for doing it Saturday after the shop is closed, which is what I've been doing. And my sister calls and she says that our aunt and uncle are in town. Edith needed to get some testing done, and it was Jack's birthday weekend, and he's our last surviving, they're our last surviving aunt and uncle, and he's going to be 90 something. And his kids want us to come and visit. And about the only time we have to come and visit is right after I closed the shop. They had time constraints because they were going to do his birthday and Christmas, I think. So they had time constraints. And the only time that I could go and Melanie could go would be right after we closed the shop. So I knew I wouldn't get a video done then. And I've got to finish the Christmas decorating tomorrow. So this morning is it. So it may be a mess. And I was running late today. I meant to get here early. But Rags, I shut the light off last night at about 12:30. I guess that's this morning, isn't it? At about 12:30, and about 1:30, she hopped up and off the bed, which is rag speak for I've either got to go to the bathroom or I'm going to vomit, one of the two. And the rest of the night was spent going in and out with diarrhea and vomiting. So I was up all night until things finally calmed down. About, I think the last time I was out with her was 4:45, and I fell asleep, and Dan came in after 8 and said, "Oh, you slept in?" And I said, "What? I have to be at the shop early." And he said, "Well, it's after 8." And so, and then she was literally, you don't need the details, but anyway, I had to do some more cleanup, and didn't get here as early as I wanted to. So, and now I've spent 8 minutes and 42 seconds talking about nothing. So let's hop right into this. Question of the week from last video was your sides for Thanksgiving. It was a lot of the same. I was surprised that not many people have strawberry pretzel salad for one of their sides. But everyone enjoyed it at my house, so thank you for responding to that. And here's Dan. He's bringing Rags in because Dr. Teal said he wants to give her a shot to help with the nausea and the diarrhea. So I'm going to have to pause this. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Rags is here, so you're going to hear her little claws tripping on the floor. Yes, hello, baby. Hello, sweetums. Okay, So let's see, what have I covered? I talked about the question of the day for last time. I don't remember if I said, hey, welcome, I'm glad you're here. But I am glad you're here, so thank you for joining me. Today's chart is one I've been eyeballing since Expo in August, and I couldn't decide whether I'm not big on people in charts. I think it's just really hard to do a decent person in cross stitch. So I usually try and avoid doing charts that have people in them. And so I liked everything about this design, but I was staring at the person in this design, and deciding what I wanted to do with that, if anything. So it's called Pieces of Olde. It's by Kathy Barrick. And it looks like this. I love the basket and the houses and the butterflies, all the different butterflies, the deer, the trees. But then there's that woman. And I just think, I don't know. So I've been staring at it for a while, trying to figure out whether I can overlook the fact that I don't particularly care for people. And then I got to looking at her shoulders and thinking, she's got some mighty fine shoulders. I don't. I have very short shoulders, and clothes tend to fall off my shoulders because there's not much of them there, and so I'm a little envious of her shoulders. So I thought, yep, I could probably overlook that. So I decided to feature this for the chart of the week. Okay, little information on this chart. Calls for 40 count vellum from Picture This Plus. Calls for needlepoint silk, although we have the DMC conversion. It's 181 by 320 for a stitch count, so it's not small. I did have a Christmas one that I was going to do, and then I was like, well, the last one was kind of Christmassy, so I thought I'd give you a break because I know not everyone does Christmas. So I chose this one, and I'll do a Christmas one the next time. Anyway, if you stitch it on 40 count as called for, your stitch design is going to be about 9 by 16. Let's see, what else can I tell you? There's quite a bit of color difference between some of the colors in the DMs. I pulled both DMC and NPI, and some of the colors are a lot different. I much prefer the colors of the MPI in this instance. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but in this case I really prefer the colors of the MPI silk. But I'll show you both so you can just make your own decision. These are the MPIs. Very nice colors. And these, and they're all in the same order, so you can kind of see the differences. These blues are much, much brighter than these. These are more the gray blues as opposed to the, Julie needs more than two hands. So you can kind of see. So these blues are much brighter. This green is much brighter than the green called for in here. You know, you can kind of see that difference. But overall, those would be there's another green that I think is pretty off. It is the 341 in the silk as opposed to 370. So there's quite a bit of difference there too. So that just gives you some idea. You know, they try and get close when they're converting, but doesn't always get the desired effect. So if it were me, I would probably use the silks on this one. Now let's talk a little bit about vellum. It's from Picture This Plus. I have 2 different dye lots of vellum. This is the older dye lot that I got out of the bag. So it's more of a, it's still a greenish color, but not a bright green. It's more of a brown green. And that's what it would look like on there, which is okay. Don't mind it. However, this is the newest dye lot that I got in. And it is a brighter, more green. And I don't know that you can tell a lot in this. I think you can tell a little bit, but I don't know if you can tell just how green that is. Now, I'm a lover of green, but I don't happen to think that I would like this with these. I think in this instance that green fabric is too green for my tastes. You do you. It's going to be a long day. Okay, so this is also vellum. This is in an 18 count Aida. It leans more towards the first dye lot that I showed you than the second dye lot. We'll just show you the DMCs on there too, just so you can, those of you who prefer that, can kind of get an idea like that. So I think that would be okay. All right. Next, I have a 38 count Wayfarer's Cloak, which is what I would kind of call a grayish. It's dog hair. Well, no, that wasn't dog hair. That was people hair. Someone who's really, really dark haired. I would call it kind of a grayish. So it's a gray beige. And I like the colors on it. Except for, I would be concerned with this one. When you get down to one strand. This is NPI 341. So I think if it were me, I would probably just swap it for 342, which has a little more saturation to it, and it would show up much better. And this is a 38 count. It's a very nice linen, kind of on the thicker side, but it's very nice to stitch on, and it has a nice feel to it. So that would be a good option for you. And then if you don't do 38 count, you're a 32 count stitcher. This is very similar in color to the Wayfarer's Cloak. It's 32 count Country French Cafe Mocha. And again, I'd probably make that substitution on the color. The DMC color would be fine on there, but I would just, this one would just worry me. So that would look good too. And then you know me, I like I like a little darker color. So this is 40 count Tobias. And I just think that darker background just kind of makes those colors sing a little bit. So I think that would be really pretty. And darker still would be Winter Wren from Fox and Rabbit. And I think the color, it would look pretty on there too. But I think Tobias is probably my favorite. So that is your chart of the week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll give it some consideration. Like I said, I had to stare at it for quite a while before I decided that I could overlook the person in the shoulders. It just kind of got that 80s puffy sleeve thing going on there, which I saw some news person was doing the puffy sleeve thing. Remember those puffy sleeves from the 80s? We all looked like football players. She had on a shirt like that, and I was like, step away from the 80s, lady. It wasn't a good look then. It's not a good look now. But I also noticed the big glasses from the 80s are back in. Again, it wasn't a good look then. It's not a great look now. Abby got new glasses, and they're huge. And she's like, aren't they cool? And I'm like, had a pair just like it back in the 80s. It wasn't cool. So, anyway, I hope you'll give this chart some consideration. I do love those houses in the basket. I think that's pretty cool. But I love a good house. We all know that. Today, question of the day is regarding Christmas lights. Are you a white light person? Are you a blue light person? Are you a multicolored light person? Do you like red and white? What is your favorite Christmas look when you decorate your house? If you decorate your house, or if you don't celebrate Christmas, you still can admire the lights. And what do you prefer when you're driving around and seeing the lights? What is your preference? I'm a white light person. Dan likes blue. And we all know I'm not a blue person. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I prefer green. If I'm going to blue or green, I go green. So I'm white lights. I just like the classic look. If I decide to add color, it's usually red. So red and white like a candy cane. But generally speaking, I like white lights. So I'm just curious. What's your preference when you're decorating or when you're driving around looking at lights if you don't celebrate Christmas? Let me know in the comments. And I'm going to count myself lucky that I've gotten through this with just one interruption. So I'm going to stick a fork in it, call it done. I'm going to wish you all a wonderful weekend. Enjoy. Like I said, mine's already filled up. After work today, I'll be going. It's going to take us 45 minutes to get. My cousin lives way the heck out north. So it'll take about 45 minutes from Melanie's house to get there, which will take us to about 2:45. And their window was from 1 to 4, so we're not going to be there for very long. Then I have to get back, make supper, and then I've got Zoom tonight. Tomorrow, Dan is going out to Abby and Travis's. We got Reese a kitchen for Christmas that has to be assembled. And from what I hear, it's going to take about 3 or 4 hours to assemble it. So they thought maybe they would do it now. This was the only weekend that Travis and Dan would be available. So Dan's going to go. Dan's going to go out there tomorrow. I'm going to try and get the rest of the Christmas decorating done. I'm struggling a little bit today. Last night, Adam and Marcia were over, and Marcia said the same thing. She was struggling a little bit with her decorations this year. I think I've got it figured out what was bothering me, so we'll find out. And so I'm going to try and get that done. I have a ton of laundry to get done. Thank you, Rags. And what else did I have on my plate this weekend? Oh, I have a hair appointment on Monday. That'll take up the morning because it's an almost hour drive out there now. Because remember, my hairdresser moved away. I tried a couple people here in town. I couldn't find anyone I liked, so I'm schlepping my behind out to where she moved to and getting my hair done. So it'll be a busy weekend. Try and get some stitching done. I started a couple new things. One of these days I'm going to get another video done showing what I've been working on, but it probably won't be this weekend. So I wish you all well. I wish you to stay safe, and I will see you, I'm planning on next Saturday. So take care until then. Bye.